There we go. Hey guys, welcome to a fun little surprise stream I've got going here for you. I haven't really announced this or anything. My name is McLean, by the way, and this is my stream. And this is the moving lens mask I've made for Spider-Man. If you've been watching the last few streams, I've been working on it pretty steadily. And I apologize, I might not be able to read comments here because this mask really blurs my vision. But, I wanted to do a stream because you guys have been asking for it, showing off the moving lenses. So here it is. I'll be honest, I'm a little terrified to do this live because I know that I've had a lot of little technical problems with the mask. So I won't be surprised at all if something, snaps or breaks over the course of this stream. So maybe one of my lenses will go paralyzed. But yeah, thanks for tuning in if you're here already. But yeah, so it's just a nice chance to get to show you guys sort of what goes into it. My lenses are already really fogging up here. That's one thing. I need to do a lot of, testing and stress testing. A lot of people have been leaving comments and stuff. Oh, there's my stream on my iPad. A lot of people have been leaving comments and stuff about wanting to buy the mask, and it's really such in such an early stage right now that I'm not quite sure what the reality of that is. Yeah, so everything's already really foggy. But yeah, so I'm excited to show you guys because a lot of people, there's not much information about how the mask even is operated right now, other than a little bit of stuff that was in prior streams and stuff. But here it is operating, and to really just show you how simplistic the controller is, right now I have it just wired up to a clamp and a cable. So it's really not any like servos or buttons. I think it's really funny. A lot of people have been guessing over the last few days how it works. Some people have guessed that there are buttons in the chin, that when I make the chin go to one side, it makes one eye go small and it makes the other eye go small. And I think that's really funny. If you could get that working, great. But I actually don't really know how to use servo motors and Arduinos and stuff very well. I want to learn more. But I know a lot about like puppetry and stuff like that. So that's how I wanted to approach this project. I've actually already done this mask. If you're familiar with my videos, I've done a version of this last year when the trailer came out for Captain America Civil War. So right after that came out, I was excited to jump into that because honestly, I've had this idea since I think May of either 2014 or 2015. So before they revealed that Spider-Man was going to have mechanical lenses, I had this idea, and I actually built a little prototype here. It goes in the other direction, and it's really not very functional, but it's just a kind of similar. I had the idea for a moving, expressive eye Spider-Man mask, and I was actually going to do it for Deadpool when the trailer dropped last year, and I was just like, oh, well, I definitely have to do it for Spider-Man. And so for the last year, I've kind of been thinking of how to make it work better, because on the first version, the eyes didn't close very much. They could have closed a lot farther than they did. So I spent a long time, thinking like how I could make it like really close as far as it does. And I got a 3D printer and certain stuff like that really helped. It helped me design the mask, and then design some of the components that help it to be really thin and keep all of the moving components flat. Because that's one of the hardest things. If you see anyone else attempt this mask, usually it's pretty thick down in the eyes, and mine are pretty deep too. It's not like mine are that flat. But it's really difficult because you have to have space for all of these moving components that slide together. So it was really just a fun challenge, and I want to go more in depth. I'm sure some of you are out there asking, because I can't see comments or anything right now, unfortunately. I'm sure some of you are out there asking to see more detail, like under the mask and how all the components and everything work. And I want to show you guys. But I will say, I've kind of had a problem in the past where I, I make a mask or something and I sell it or I reveal the stuff quickly, and I sort of get the credit sort of swept away a little bit. And I don't want to sound like that's all I care about, but I do want to get subscribers and things like that. So, by the way, if you're watching this, feel free to subscribe to see more projects like this. But anyway, I want to be sure that when I teach you how to make this mask or how to make moving components, that it's not just like right away just swept out. And because another problem is I've noticed I've been doing streams for about 2.5 months, and I've noticed some other tutorial videos popping up that look very similar to some of my videos. And it's hard not to, see that and be like, well, what can I do against that? Like, really all I can do is not reveal the stuff if someone's going to be basically just repackaging it right away. And if they have more followers or something like that, then that's really their advantage there. And so, yeah, also, I apologize if it sounds like I'm in a plastic shell or short of breath. My air flow isn't great in this shell with all of the, different moving components. I haven't moved them in a little while, so I'll do that again. But yeah, so I've got control. I'll show you. I've just got control of both eyes here. And there's a pretty tremendous amount of force that goes into closing the components, just because that's the nature of everything being so flat. And basically that's why people think of this project as pretty impossible, is that all of that stuff being so flat together, it creates so much friction between the layers, and it gets, there's so much friction that it just pulls really tight. And so there's a lot of pulling that has to be done to get everything to move. And it's crazy how complex the design of the shutters had to be to kind of facilitate this strange triangular shape of the lenses. But it still, closes at kind of an even rate, which was one of the biggest challenges with it. It was a really, really fun project to work on, but I've got to say, it was like seriously one of the hardest things I've ever worked on to this point. Just a lot of little things that kind of came up along the way that made me, just make you wonder, like, is this possible? Is this going to work? Because, I've kind of, I've been pretty confident in that this would work, and I think it has worked pretty well. I've kind of was able to overcome some of those little obstacles that come up, but some of them really had me thinking that the whole thing just wasn't going to work, which is unfortunate. And I'm still, testing and stuff, because one problem is that it's a tremendous amount of labor that went into building this. I didn't think it was going to take so long, but I didn't do streams for so long because I've been building this thing for so long, whenever I could get a chance. And so, I just didn't think that it was going to be so much effort. And if you were to do something like make this for someone, and then they get it the first day, and they're playing with it, and then something breaks, a little component snaps, that would just be heartbreaking, because it really can be difficult to repair things. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. So I've got to make sure that it's at a place where you could go to a convention and do this all day and not have it break on you. But I'm really excited about it, because one of the coolest things I think about it is going to be interaction with little kids. To be able to go up to little kids and, really do like really animated sort of like gestures, and the puppetry aspect of it kind of allows you to do that. And so I think, that's one of the most fun aspects of cosplay and costuming in general, is that you bring so much happiness and joy to kids and adults alike. So I'm really happy that this one has enough movement that it's noticeable. Because the last mask didn't, the movement wasn't quite there. So you'd be standing in a group of people, and I was moving the lenses, but it wasn't enough movement, so people couldn't even see it. But this one I think will be a lot better. So a little more testing to go with it, but I'm really satisfied with how the movement looks and how all of that looks. And another thing is I welcome you to like share videos, stuff like that at this point, because I'm pretty confident with where it's at right now. I still need to build a full suit, but that's going to be much later on, because at this point I need to tackle some of the other stuff on my to-do list, like face shells. And there are a million people who've been sending me messages, and I've just been seriously like cut off from the world trying to get this thing done. And it's bad that I do that, but I feel like I get in a mode where it's like I've just got to focus and get as much work done as possible, because it's a lot of hours of work. But yeah, so next I'm gonna get in touch with some people that have been sending me messages. If your message was missed, now might be a good time to resend it, although I'm going to go through my inbox and kind of tackle them one by one. But yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated. I want to get back to a good stream schedule and figure out how to tackle this thing, because like I said, I don't want to just give away all the secrets right away, because sort of the only people who will be able to utilize it are people who already have face shells, and sort of like my competition that already have moving lenses ready. They're kind of like the only ones that would be able to utilize a tutorial like that right away. So I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to get it so that you have enough information from face shell onward. Yeah, so I think that'll probably be it. I'm kind of suffocating inside of this mask. I don't know if you guys can hear that it's kind of hard to breathe and talk because of that. I'm kind of drowning in sweat now too. But it's kind of a little stress test doing this video, because it shows, if this thing's gonna break, it might break here. Oh, did I call it? Oh, right as I say that, one of the lenses break. So I don't know if you can see, I think maybe one of the lens shutters snapped. But that's the stress test I'm talking about, because if I were to get this to someone and it did that on the first or second day they had it, that would be pretty devastating. Basically what that just means is that it needs to be reinforced. The whole process, every time something has gone wrong, it means, okay, well, that component can't be plastic, it has to be metal, so I have to machine a metal component for it. And I'm really excited to get into all of that and the workings of how it all goes together. It's not like super complicated, and I've already shown you a bit of information with this. You can see that this eye isn't closing all the way anymore. But yeah, and one more thing is I'm kind of it doesn't have the totally proper closing movement. It kind of has like a point here in the lens, and I'd like to figure out in future lenses or future shells how to get it more flat, because it's kind of more of a squinted eye shape as he closes it. But it's still, oh, that might have been it, breaking for good. But yeah, so I think that's a good time to call it quits now that I've stress tested. But if you tuned in and watched this, thank you. It's good to be streaming again. I'll stream again soon and have something more worthwhile to show you. Yeah. Thanks for watching.